This video is a little bit different to my regular flying videos. It's more about the people in the Southwest World Soaring Club than anything else. Why we fly, most unusual flying experiences, how high we've been, how far we've been, that sort of thing. Anyway, it's a bit longer, but I hope you enjoy it.
Steve, what's your first name?
I'm Mike.
It's Gronwy Rhys Jones, but most Australians and paraglider pilots call me Gron.
So what's your name, Peter?
Hi, Dave.
So what's your name?
Steve.
That would have to be crossing the Alps twice in a day at 14,000 feet and flying over glaciers.
The scariest wasn't too long ago actually. I was up in Carmarthen and I was on takeoff, took off on takeoff, and the wind was an easterly wind and it shifted to north of east. I didn't get any thermal and I came down on the emergency landing area and I had a bit of a collapse about 60 foot from the ground, and my wing opened up really quickly and I came ploughing into the ground. Luckily I didn't do no damage.
XC or Ridgefly?
XC.
Highest I've ever been 5,600 feet, which was on that cross country from Helsinki.
First of all, Mike is asking me this on the last day of the Algodonales trip, and we didn't get in till 4 o'clock this morning. So I'm really at my best for this interview. Not.
So when did you start flying, John?
As a kid, like all of us, I think, fascinated by aviation and flight. The thought of weights being going up there to the sky, watching birds, watching aircraft, lovely. And got into it, walked Rosilli in the 70s, saw hang gliders soaring Rosilli. One of those light bulb moments. I am going to do that. Period.
Acro or boating?
Boating.
Basically I fly because I think, I got quite a stressful job, and what flying does, it helps me sort of separate myself away from the stresses of life. And to be honest, you got some, the mates, flying mates, it's absolutely brilliant. It's the whole thing. It's brilliant.
Big years, I've never done wing overs, not yet anyway.
I think, well, paragliding, I love flying. I love flying. I love cross-country flying because you take off, you go up to base, if you're lucky, and you land somewhere completely new. It's like you're like an alien landing on a different planet. It's fantastic. And then you got the retrieve, and I even like the retrieves. It's great fun.
I got to 14,500 feet and the air was a bit thinner there.
Acro or boating?
Boating or a few wing overs over the landing field.
I remember taking off at Tailbridge Fell. I was first learning to fly. In that moment my feet left the ground and I skimmed the ground for a few seconds and then touched down 20 metres down the hill. Amazing. I was on a high all night.
Apart from when I was learning, it was just at the end of my my schooling. I was out in Morocco. Yeah, it was just absolutely fantastic, just to thermal up there and sit way above the clouds, and just amazing.
It's probably 2 years ago from here, Algodonales. It's where I did my best XC87K. Basically got up, got the cloud base and went over the back, and it was like a nice paragliding day, and just from cloud to cloud. I did get scared sort of halfway and started singing Carol on, but then I landed. I could see the beach. I didn't land by the beach, but yeah, that's my best flying experience.
Boating.
Yeah, 26 kilometres.
What's your maximum height?
4.2.
What's the maximum height you got to?
Well, the thing is, I'm usually flying above everyone else, and so it's normally a bit higher than everyone else. No, no, in all seriousness, it's probably around 8,500 feet, probably. Yeah.
I fly Arctic 4. Idiot.
I think that was in Piedrahita when I had a probably 70% asymmetric with a couple of twists above the bend of the road. And the scariest thing about it was I didn't know what I'd done wrong. But luckily I was videoing it and I figured out what I did wrong, and I was much happier. And I ended up doing a glide for 20k without turning in anything, just to land and to be happy on the ground. What's your best flight experience?
Probably going first cross-country flight from Helsinki to SWWSC, which was an amazing experience. It was also the highest I've ever flown at, and unfortunately the furthest I've ever flown as well.
Okay, highest flight taking off at 6,500 feet at Mount Babada in Ola Deniz, and therming up another 2.5, so that's 9,000 feet.
It was at Helsinki when I was training, and all I can remember is just being really dry. My heart rate was going, sweating and all that. Got off and I was only about 10 feet above the ground, but it was an absolutely magic experience. Yeah. XE or ridge soaring?
XC. So acro or boating?
Oh, that's got to be a bit of acro, isn't it?
Because you're in the moment, you don't think of anything else, and it's amazing being up high and flying freely, no engine, absolutely amazing. And not only that, great bunch of guys that I fly with. One claims he's the top pilot in the UK, which he isn't. I am.
Highest I ever got to is about 4,100 metres in Piedrahita, so it's about 12,000 feet.
Na I beth anghofio'r moment hudol cynta pan o'n i'n hedfan hang glider yn Merthyr, yn y bryniau uwch ben Merthyr, a o'n i'n hedfan lawr ochr y mynydd a mynd dros part o'r mynydd oedd yn codi ac yn teimlo'r awyr yn fy nghodi i fyny am y tro cyntaf erioed, ac oedd hwnna'n hyfryd.
Diolch yn fawr, Gron.
Croeso.
Basically, when I was flying, the task was between Italy and Slovenia, and I was flying with a world record holder. She'd done 6 world records, and she got up, and we were following this girl, and basically I was flying along this massive Italian Dolomite, and I had a 90% collapse, and I nearly killed myself, and I was so scared. It's unbelievable. Yeah. But Mike, why do you fly?
I fly because you live in the moment. You think about nothing at all other than flying. And when I'm up high, I just thank God I'm alive. It's absolutely fantastic.
First flying experience was in Sweden when I was learning to fly only 10-20 feet off the ground from a dry ski slope. Still remember it, absolutely amazing, loved it.
So what was your most magical flying experience?
Never forget it. It was my first P1, or the equivalent of the EP, in hang gliding in 1977 in Merthyr, in the mountains above Merthyr. Just about out gliding the hill in a basic hang glider, and passing over a little rise in the ground, and for the first time in my life experiencing rising air.
Scariest flying experience was in Tenerife when I was doing a small cross country, and I had a full frontal and really enjoyed then getting to the beach, landing and have numerous pints of beer.
Scariest flying experience was here in Algodonales in 2003 when I took off from a tiny launch, which was just about a postage stamp size, one glider only. A lot of stress and pressure on people to get off quickly so that the queue could form and get off. My glider tangled in the bushes. I was very low airtime at that stage in paragliding, having come from hang gliding. Took off with one totally snagged brake. As soon as I got off the ground, the glider was going right. I had to counter steer left all the way to the ground, thinking I got to get this down somehow. Managed to land by the road.
Experience was at Sterling Bow in 1999, and I was in an old Idel. It was a forward launch with a crotch buster harness, and like most people, I just got maybe 10 feet off the ground and flew for about 30-40 feet, and I was absolutely blown away from that moment. I was stoked, completely stoked. So what's your most unusual flying experience?
That's got to be flying with you when we were soaring not far from Rosilly, and we discovered 2 lesbians making out on the beach, so we decided to land and take a look, didn't we, Mike?
Do you think you're like higher or lower than Barry?
I think I'm higher than Barry.
Glad you said that.
Well, to be honest, everyone's higher than Barry.
That's enough of that now.
Nice time, gentlemen.
We've had a great time.
What a blast.
On a blast. All right, well, anyway, cheers to Algo Denari's 2017.
Absolutely.
Yay!